My name is Rosan. I am a third year student and I am undocumented. I came to the country, United States, when I was 12 years old. That was 12 years ago now. We just came on vacation, and eventually my mom, when we were about to go back, said, "Oh, you're gonna stay back and go to school here." So she and my brother left and I stayed back with my auntie. Yeah. It was so cold during that time. It was during Christmas. Yeah, it was insanely cold. And then the school, like just talking to different accents. It was like more of a southern accent. So I could definitely tell it was different. Yeah. And then it was like black and white. Usually I'm just used to all Africans. So that was also different. Yeah. I'm like a kind of person that I love to travel. Like, oh my God. I feel like that's why I've maybe just gone to almost a lot of different states, in the United States, because that's all I can go. Like Puerto Rico, Hawaii, or Guam. So I just like to travel, and it's so annoying sometimes I just can't go to especially Mexico. It's right there. I just came okay, I'm gonna go to Mexico. And then once in college I was involved in lots of the peer mentoring program. It's kind of like a TA kind of program. And then I had a chance all paid. We're supposed to go to Japan, and then it was just peer mentoring in Japan, take the students from Cal State East Bay. But then I had to I couldn't go because I cannot leave the country. So it was times like that it kind of hit me being undocumented really sucks. But before all those things, it was high school was okay, it was free. College, Cal State East Bay, it wasn't free, but it was affordable. So it's just when I'm missing out on all these opportunities that I realized, okay, well. So DACA, it's deferred action for childhood arrivals. So it's pretty much when Obama came into office, he signed an executive order saying children of a certain age who came here, who are undocumented, who came here with legal status or on legal status, they can finally get a chance to have some kind of temporary legal status. Yeah, when I got DACA, it pretty much transformed my life because I was able to do at least, I was able to have an ID, a driver's license, just be normal. I think I was maybe 19 or 20, and that's over the age of the time I could have had a driver's license. I didn't really have to have my friends drive me everywhere or take the bus everywhere. I was able to have an ID, so it's when you're going into the club, you're not taking a passport. So I was finally had my ID, and it was just, also I was able to, I was also very glad because then I felt more comfortable applying for law school because you can't be undocumented and then want to be a lawyer. It's kind of counterintuitive. It's you're not following the law, but you're in law school. I don't know. So it really helped me with that to be more comfortable to apply to law school. I've always known I wanted to go to law school, but I didn't even know it was going to be United States. But I just wanted to always just kind of end the corruption, and I felt like being a lawyer was the best way to do that in Nigeria. So I've always knew I wanted to be a lawyer. I don't know how early, but middle school here and in high school for sure, it was very clear that I wanted to go to law school. Paying for law school, when it's, well, at first, I had sponsorship from the Nigerian government, so they were paying for a significant part of my tuition, and then my mom would cover the rest. But then there's something in Nigeria that happened, the switch of government, and then that was in my second year. Yeah, it was end of the first year, second year. So it's the governor who's to sponsor me left office. So the other the other president was going to, he kept on continuing, but it wasn't as frequent as it was. So it was always hard to oh yeah, emailing them to pay the fees, and I had to tell the financial aid office oh well, I can't pay yet and all that stuff. And then eventually it wasn't as frequent, or they couldn't pay for it anymore, but I couldn't get a loan because for DACA students you don't qualify for regular graduate student loan. So I had to get a co-signer for a loan, for a private student loan, which is way more expensive. But then there's now the issue of getting a co-signer. So it was really hard for me to find a co-signer to just the rest of my tuition for my third year. But then because a lot of people I know that it's only family or really close friends that want to do stuff like that for you. Most of them student so they don't qualify, or some of them are undocumented, so until I finally found someone, that, family friend that could actually co-sign for me. I mean, see, the thing with DACA students, it's like, like the age requirement, like you've been here since, I don't know, has like 12 or, I don't know, young, and then no felony or misdemeanors or, I mean, I feel like with DACA students, they've been here a long time, and most of them didn't even know why, they're about anything about legal status when they first came, so it wasn't like they chose to come here, without the proper documents or papers. They just ended up finding themselves one day being undocumented. So it's like, they're just like regular Americans who all of a sudden found out they have no papers, but the difference in rights, versus me versus someone who's documented is so drastically different. But it's like we do the same thing. We went to the same high school, middle school, same college, the same law school, but I can't have the same, freedom to travel wherever I want or study abroad or, all these things, get a loan or, so that's the main difference. And it's like I have to like always remember to renew my status, all the time, or save money to renew for the documentation to renew it, and pray that I, get it renewed, all that stuff. So it's, especially, like I said, I was fortunate enough, at least for my first and second year, but just thinking about all this stuff you have to do as a DACA student, getting a co-signer or, working with financial aid, like they know your name, emailing them and telling them all this stuff, hoping that your classes aren't dropped. It's a lot to deal with, just because, you don't have papers, but you've been here your whole life. So, yeah.